Why the month of Safar is considered jinxed by some Muslims? Join me to find out. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Shahida Parveen and you're watching Tazkiyah. Is it possible for an entire month to be shrouded in misfortune and bad luck? For some Muslims, the month of Safar is seen exactly this way, steeped in a history of superstitions and negative associations. This belief in Safar's jinxed nature dates back centuries and has woven itself into cultural narratives, extending the idea that it brings about misfortune and calamity. Let's explore the origins of these beliefs and separate facts from the fiction. Now, coming to the origins of these superstitions, the belief that Safar is an unlucky month has deep roots despite lacking solid foundations in Islamic teachings. This superstition likely stems from pre-Islamic Arabian customs and has persisted through cultural transmission rather than religious doctrine. Before the advent of Islam, the Arabs considered Safar to be an unfortunate month. They would manipulate the lunar calendar by postponing Safar or transferring its days to other months, a practice known as Nasi. This practice was explicitly forbidden in the Quran. The Quran says, "Indeed, the postponing of restriction within sacred months is an increase in disbelief by which those who have disbelieved are led further astray. They make it lawful 1 year and unlawful another year to correspond to the number made unlawful by Allah, and thus make lawful what Allah has made unlawful. Made pleasing to them is the evil of their deeds, and Allah does not guide the disbelieving people." So what is the meaning of Safar? The name Safar itself is intriguing. Its name is derived from the Arabic word sifr, meaning empty, possibly because pre-Islamic Arabs would leave their homes in this month for trade or war, leaving their houses empty. In pre-Islamic times, it was even associated with reading, hence the phrase Sifran min al-Mata, which simply translates to empty-handed. Now, coming to some of the common superstitions associated with Safar, despite the clear Quranic command against manipulating months, some superstitions about Safar have persisted. These include avoiding major life decisions or events during Safar, postponing travel or important business dealings, believing that accidents and misfortunes are more likely to occur, and last but not the least, considering Wednesday of the last week of Safar particularly unlucky. So what is the Islamic perspective on these superstitions? Islam strongly discourages superstitious beliefs and practices. The Quran and the Hadith emphasize the importance of relying on Allah and rejecting superstitions. The Quran says, "And when you have decided, then rely upon Allah. Indeed, Allah loves those who rely upon Him." The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, also warned against these superstitious beliefs. There is no adwa, contagion, nor tiara, bad omen, nor hamma, nor Safar. This hadith explicitly mentions Safar, refuting the notion that it carries any inherent misfortune. Let's address these misconceptions. Number 1, Safar brings bad luck. This belief contradicts the Islamic principle that all events, good or bad, come from Allah's decree. The Quran says, "Never will be struck except by what Allah has decreed for us, and He is our protector, and upon Allah let the believers rely." Misconception number 2, certain days in Safar are particularly unlucky. Islam teaches that all days belongs to Allah, and no specific day carries inherent misfortune. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, "There is no bad omen in the month of Safar." Misconception number 3, major life events should be avoided in Safar. This belief has no basis in Islamic teaching. Muslims are encouraged to seek Allah's guidance through prayer, which is istihara, when making important decisions regardless of the month. So what are some of the dangers these superstitious beliefs bring forth? Holding on to superstitions about Safar or any other time can have negative consequences. Number 1, it may lead to shirk by attributing power to something other than Allah. Number 2, it can cause unnecessary stress and anxiety. Number 3, it may lead to missed opportunities due to unfounded fears. Number 4, it contradicts the Islamic principle of tawakkul. Embracing a positive perspective instead of fearing suffer, Muslims can use this month as an opportunity to strengthen their faith and reliance on Allah. Reflect on the blessings in their lives, increase in good deeds and charity, educate others about the true teachings of Islam regarding superstitions. So, what are some practical steps to overcome suffer superstitions? Number 1, educate yourself. Study authentic Islamic sources to understand the true teachings about luck, fortune, and reliance on Allah. Number 2, reflect on the Quran. Meditate on the verses that emphasize Allah's control over all affairs, such as, "And with Him are the keys of the unseen, none knows them except Him, and He knows what is on the land and in the sea. Not a leaf falls, but that He knows it. And no grain is there within the darkness of the earth, and no moist or dry thing, but that is written in a clear record." Number 3, practice dua and zikr. Strengthen your connection with Allah through regular supplication and remembrance. Number 4, seek knowledge. Attend classes or lectures by knowledgeable scholars who can address these misconceptions. Number 5, spread awareness. Gently educate family and friends who may hold these superstitious beliefs. So to conclude, the month of Safar, like any other month, is a creation of Allah and carries no inherent misfortune. The superstitions surrounding it are remnants of pre-Islamic beliefs that have no place in authentic Islamic teachings. By understanding the true nature of Safar and rejecting unfounded superstitions, Muslims can approach this month with confidence, relying solely on Allah for protection and guidance. As we move through the month of Safar, let us actively reject superstitions and instead cultivate an atmosphere of faith and positivity. Share the true Islamic teachings with your community and make a conscious effort to perform good deeds and acts of worship. Together, we can transform the perception of Safar, recognizing it as a time of equal potential for blessing and spiritual growth. Remember, every day and every month is an opportunity to draw closer to Allah and strengthen our faith. Let's approach Safar with optimism, gratitude, and unwavering trust in Allah's plan. So until next time, may peace and grace finds you wherever you are. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Don't forget to like and subscribe.